We are NeuroLaunch. We are the accelerator, the only one, the world's first, for neuroscience startups. And just in case you didn't see our website, we have a website, we have Twitter, and I do encourage you, if you're a Twitter user, you can tweet with the hashtag NeuroLaunch during the day-to-day so we can engage the community of people who can't be here with us. These are very exciting times for neuro startups, as Chris said. There are many that have captured our imagination over the past year. These are just a few of them, and they really span different categories, from medical devices to therapeutics, to consumer-facing products, health IT, wearable technology. You name it, if it's related to neuroscience, it's part of our purview. And that was the vision that we entered with starting NeuroLaunch. Even our most popular personalities are getting in on the act, and we like that. Here at NeuroLaunch, our mission is to remove the barriers for those neuroscience innovators. We want to help them achieve their dreams and bring their technologies to the marketplace where they can benefit society. So we address each of those barriers in turn. We give these early stage companies, the best of them who apply to us, funding, typically between $20,000 and $100,000 in our first cohort, a 90-day curriculum that is specially tailored and one of a kind at the interface of neuroscience and startup business techniques, over 100 mentors worldwide, which is a world-class network of expertise that I'll tell you more about in a moment, and strategic partners, as Chris said, for prototyping, preclinical testing, legal advice, tax, regulatory advice. All of these are things that we provide to you as a NeuroLaunch startup. Something magic happens when those things come together. And that magic is what we've come to call NeuroLaunch. So we launched in a very rapid fashion last summer. And we were very happy to get a lot of traction from around the world, not only locally, but from specialty organizations nationally and internationally as well. The reason for that is because of the novelty of what we're doing. We're essentially applying a technique that was honed in the past 10 years in the world of tech startups in Silicon Valley and has been tremendously successful to the world of neuroscience for the first time. And this is a completely novel application. Despite being in stealth mode, we've received more media attention than we even anticipated. And we're very grateful for all the people that have come out supporting us, wanting to be mentors, wanting to be interns from both Atlanta and other places in the world. So this is my thank you to you. Although there are a few health accelerators out there, most of them started within the past few years, we are the only ones focused on neuroscience, and that is our distinguishing factor. It's why companies come to us, and it captures our vision and our energy around what we want to bring to the world. I should note that the number of seed accelerators has been growing at a rapid clip. By one count, there's over 228 worldwide. These are all accelerators, not just health, and totaling over $7.2 billion in funds given out. And that's a number that's growing rapidly. There's a phenomenon that is not really captured on this slide, but the small fraction of health accelerators is actually growing relative to the whole, and those accelerators are becoming increasingly focused on niche topics as people realize that one of the best models for innovation is to focus your energies, focus your mentorship, curriculum, and partnerships on a particular topic area. And that's what we're doing here at NeuroLaunch. So we're on the right side of history. We are based here in Atlanta, and we're proud to be. This is an incredible place to be. But we are global in scope. This map just gives you a sense of where our portfolio companies and where our poster showcase companies today are coming from. If you walk around this room later today during the break, you'll be able to meet people from all of these places, and there are probably a few that aren't even captured here. We're very excited to have this global footprint, and we expect that it will continue in the future. It turns out that being based in Atlanta is actually a great thing, because this town is primed to support an incredible community for startups in the life sciences and, for that matter, in neuroscience. These are some figures taken from a slide presentation by Dr. Paul Judge last summer about the Atlanta startup scene. And that presentation really spoke to me. Paul's a friend of mine, and I went through this talk as we were starting NeuroLaunch, and I realized the incredible amount of resources and information that is here in Atlanta but sometimes siloed from one another. So on the left side, we have a number of incredible world-class institutions: Emory, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, Grady Marcus Stroke Center, Marcus Autism Center, CDC. These institutions are doing incredible things, and they have an incredible number of innovators both in the life sciences and neuroscience that are ready to translate their innovations to the marketplace through, potentially, startups. At the same time, we actually have a very strong ecosystem of successful healthcare startups in Atlanta, some of whom have had notable exits recently. And so when you bring all this together, this is an incredible place to be. On top of resources like this, Atlanta Tech Village, ATDC, where our headquarters is located, and other resources for early stage entrepreneurs. We are headquartered in Atlanta's Tech Square, which is the traditional pulsating heart of the tech ecosystem here in town. Tech Square was actually named the most outstanding research and science park on a national survey last year. And we're affiliated with ATDC, which is a sister organization of ours that supports startups in the technology space. We're also partners with Atlanta Tech Village, and we're very thrilled to be having our demo day here. Our team is really one of the best things about this experience for me, working alongside these three other extraordinary individuals. Chris, as you met, is a dynamic presence in Atlanta, and he's brought his vast wealth of experience to our program. He's a serial entrepreneur, experienced investor, former founder of Internet Security Systems, which was a $1 billion+ exit for Atlanta about a decade ago, and currently CEO of an innovative virtual world gaming company. And so we're very lucky to have Chris. The next two gentlemen on this slide, Jim Schwabel and Anish Joseph. Can you guys stand up for a second? I want to recognize these guys. Jim and Anish are Jim and Anish are both biomedical engineers trained at Georgia Tech, which is one of the top programs in the world for biomedical engineering. And they've taken a particular interest for the past several years in neuroscience innovation. And they got together with Chris and myself, and we all put our heads together, and NeuroLaunch was the result. So I'm very lucky to have worked with them, and they bring an incredible wealth of experience in the Georgia Tech and Atlanta communities. Myself, as Chris mentioned, I'm a neuroscientist and a physician by training, currently in the Department of Neurosurgery as a resident at Emory Healthcare, and I have some startup background as well. So I think we work very good together. We have a very complementary set of skills and interests, and it's been a blast. Not pictured on this slide are about 10 interns who have been intermittently helping us throughout the course of the accelerator, and I just want to thank all of them here as well. Our model is actually following a fairly standard model for a startup curriculum. We have 4 major buckets to our didactic curriculum, which covers a 90-day period from start to finish. Product development, operations, legal, regulatory, and reimbursement issues, and business development, broadly defined. In our case, this is unique because it's related specifically to neuroscience. We have mentors, we have over 30 now, coming in to speak to our portfolio companies about aspects of medical device regulation, aspects of how to hire the best team, how to raise money for your operation, how to establish an online presence and do graphic design for your product. All of these things that are specifically tailored for neuroscience startups. The process culminates in Demo Day, which is our showcase for investors. But this is actually just one part of that process, because we've been having our portfolio companies, there are 6 of them, speak to investors all along the way, getting feedback on their ideas, and in a couple cases, already raising a significant deal of money here in Atlanta. And I expect and hope that the conversations with their partnerships or possible investment relationships will continue once we all leave this room. We do have over 100 mentors in our network, and these people are the best in the world at what they do. They bring deep expertise in our key focus areas. This is just a fraction of our mentors, some of whom I see in the room here today. In all these areas, we're very lucky to have these people, and as Chris said, it was no trouble getting people who are extremely passionate about what we're doing About half our mentors are based here in Georgia, and half of them are distributed around the world. We also have a number of partners. I call them friends. These are all organizations that have supported us in some way or another, whether it's providing advice, coming in to speak with our teams, providing us resources, facilities, partnerships, and we're very grateful for these and more. Just to summarize what I've just said, the traction we have gotten in only 8 months of our existence has been incredibly inspiring to me. We went from an idea over lunch to a fully executed accelerator that you see here in this room in less than 8 months. We got over 60 applicants hailing from 10 US states and 7 countries, and we're able to boast a less than 10% admit rate so that we could be assured that we got the best startups in that cohort. Over 30 guest speakers came to mentor us during our accelerator program, and we were able to visit 10 sites in Atlanta of importance for neuroscience innovation. Examples include Grady Marcus Stroke Center, the Marcus Autism Center, GCMI, GTRI, UCB Pharmaceuticals, and many others. To date, our 6 NeuroLaunch companies have raised over $2.35 million and continue to grow rapidly. Today, they're going to be seeking over $4 million in follow-on funding, as well as partnerships. We also have 22 NeuroLaunch poster showcase companies who will not be taking the stage, but will be here in the room all day with their posters available. These people are joining us from all around the world. And you saw that map earlier. I'm incredibly thrilled. I've been corresponding with someone on Twitter who just came from Croatia. I haven't met him yet, but there he is. There he is. He's a tweet maniac. But we really appreciate you coming out here to join us, and we're very excited about your company. Altogether, we have 22 plus 6. That's 28 core neuroscience-related startup companies, which actually represents the largest single gathering of neuroscience startups in recorded history, to my knowledge. And with your help, that number will continue to grow. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce the cohort #1 of NeuroLaunch. These 6 companies are the best of the breed. They've labored intensively over the past 3 months, going from very early stage concepts, in some cases, to fully fledged, rapidly validated business models that they will share with you today. We have 6 companies in our portfolio cohort. All of them are here. 5 of them will be taking the stage. One of them has decided not to be raising money at this time because they're doing so well. But it's our real pleasure to have these, and you'll hear much more about them later. And by the way, in case you're wondering, that background, which you can see on the back of your brochure lookbook, is actually the diffusion tensor connectome of one of our CEO's brains, Paulo Rodriguez. And I'm sure he'll be, Paulo, stand up. That's his brain. That is literally his brain. And his company is fascinating. He'll tell you more about that later on today. Just to wrap up, our cohort, 3 months, 6 teams, 15 entrepreneurs, half of them hailing from Georgia and Atlanta region, half of them from outside the Southeast, as far away as Barcelona, Spain. And we worked hard, we had fun, we learned a lot, and we built a community. I should also note something that came to me last night as I was putting the final touches on this presentation, the tremendous global diversity in our cohort. With only 6 companies, we actually had 9 countries represented. And unless you think that's some sort of magic trick, I'll let you listen to them individually. But we are incredibly enthused by the quality and diversity in so many ways of our first cohort. And this day is also a capstone for them. So congratulations ahead of time, guys. Today, you're all here in this room for something called Investor Demo Day. You're all here, if I may, for the following reasons. Experiencing the future by meeting the top neuro startups, early stage neuro startups that we were able to identify and bring here to Atlanta to present to you and interact with you. You're also here to network and meet like-minded investors, if you're an investor, or innovators in the neurosciences. And it's my hope that many productive relationships will come out of this afternoon's session. We have 2 panels featuring some incredibly interesting and brilliant people. The first panel will cover horizons in neuroscience investment and innovation, the landscape as we see it in 2015. And the next panel will cover the future of neuro-wearable devices, a topic that is near and dear to my heart and those of many others in this room. Most importantly, you're all here to join the global NeuroLaunch community. In fact, I believe you've already done that. Today's schedule is on the inside of your lookbook that you got when coming in. It's on the inside cover. I won't go through it in detail, but you should know that we'll have the 2 panels immediately following this, followed by a 45-minute, roughly, poster showcase with a snack break and, of course, networking during that time. At around 3:45, we'll start taking our seats. We have a little buffer time built in, so if we go a little bit over, that's okay. But definitely by 4 p.m., we will start the actual portfolio company pitches. The 5 companies will be up here pitching 6 minutes each, back to back, with no interruptions. And then following that time, we'll have a brief set of closing remarks and a 2-hour cocktail reception. I promise we won't stand in the way of you and cocktails for very long. I'd like to thank you again. Once again, I'm Jordan Amadio with NeuroLaunch, and it's really an honor to have you all here today. Welcome.